Russia once called it a 3-day special military operation. But on day 1169, Ukraine launched the largest drone attack on Russian soil since the war began. Over 500 drones penetrated deep into Russian territory, striking airbases, weapons factories, and critical infrastructure across multiple regions. And this was just the beginning. Even pro-Kremlin military bloggers are now admitting what the Kremlin doesn't want to hear. Ukraine's defense industry is accelerating fast, while Russia's once feared air defense systems are buckling under pressure. What once gave Russia a strategic edge, its sheer size and depth, is now becoming a weakness. In the age of drone warfare, geography doesn't protect you. It exposes you. Because you can't defend a country as vast as Russia from hundreds of simultaneous attacks, especially when many of them cost less than a used car. This wasn't a random strike either. It was timed with surgical precision. Just days before Russia's Victory Day celebrations, major air defense systems were repositioned, pulled away from regional bases, and moved to protect Moscow's skies. That left entire military zones exposed. Ukraine struck exactly when those gaps appeared. Even Moscow felt the impact. Airports were forced to shut down multiple times due to drone incursions. And this wasn't some minor inconvenience. It happened just as millions of Russians were trying to leave the capital for the holiday. Then came another sign. Authorities announced they would shut down mobile internet across Moscow during the Victory Day parade. Officially, it's a precaution. Unofficially, it signals something much deeper. The Kremlin is nervous. Ukraine isn't just fighting on the front lines anymore. It's hitting the foundation of Russia's war machine. Logistics, production, morale. Cheap, expendable drones are now reaching deep inside Russian territory, hitting oil depots, ammunition plants, and even command centers. The war is no longer over there, it's at home. And that's starting to change the conversation. Some analysts are now asking the unthinkable. Could persistent attacks like these push parts of Russia toward internal instability? Could vast, far-flung regions become nearly ungovernable if drone strikes continue to target infrastructure, communications, and transportation hubs? Even if that's not Ukraine's primary goal, it's creating real pressure, militarily, politically, and psychologically. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, the mood is shifting. Just before a high-stakes phone call between German Chancellor Friedrich Merz and Donald Trump, US Vice President J.D. Vance made headlines. He called it ridiculous to suggest that the US and Europe weren't aligned. But what made it really interesting? He openly criticized Putin's terms for peace, a first from the Trump administration. Then came a private call between Trump and President Zelensky. The takeaway? Both sides are willing to discuss a ceasefire, but only under pressure. Pressure that Ukraine is increasingly able to apply. What happened next didn't make front-page news, but it mattered. US military aid resumed. First, a symbolic $50 million package, almost a signal. Then, bigger moves, $310 million allocated for F-16 training and maintenance. And a game-changer. 8 Patriot missile systems, originally meant for Israel, were rerouted to Ukraine. And behind the scenes, something even more strategic was happening. A long-term US investment deal tied to Ukraine's mineral wealth. This isn't just military support anymore. It's about anchoring America's stake in Ukraine's post-war future, financially, politically, and geopolitically. But not everything went smoothly. Leaked Pentagon documents later revealed something troubling. Trump's newly appointed Secretary of Defense had unilaterally paused military aid back in February, without informing the president. The order was quietly reversed days later, but the delay may have cost Ukraine precious ground near Kursk. Was it incompetence? A political power move? No one knows for sure. What we do know is that Ukraine today is not the same country it was a year ago. Its weapons production has doubled, even tripled in some areas. It now produces hundreds of drones per month, some of them with AI-powered flight systems and stealth coatings. And Europe is stepping up too. Chancellor Merz is pushing to send Taurus long-range missiles despite resistance from inside the Bundestag. Artillery shipments from Poland, France and Sweden are on the rise. This isn't just support, it's strategic alignment. And for Trump, this war is no longer just a headline. It's personal. His administration's first major foreign policy win, the Ukraine mineral resource deal, depends on Ukraine's survival. If Kyiv falls, it's not just a military loss. It's a blow to Trump's credibility. Zelensky knows this, and he's leveraging it. For the first time, Ukraine holds more than just moral leverage. It has real hard strategic assets, production, partnerships and precision strikes. And it's forcing the world to ask a different question. Not can Ukraine survive, but what would it actually take to win? That's something we'll explore in the next video. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it.